you the bachelor. And as they start rolling out these little shawties out of the limo in the first episode, each one of them gets out and they're all kind of ugly. They all kind of got warts. You know what I mean? But you're contract committed. You're pot committed. You signed up. You're on TV. The cameras are rolling. You got your money. But you got to give your rose to somebody. And that's kind of how this field is. You got to give your rose to somebody. And I'm going to help you give 2 roses out to 2 sleepers. And they're asleep now. They are asleep. They could be a couple of the prettiest girls in the ball in the lower tier options on DraftKings. 4, the Rocket Mortgage Classic at Detroit Golf Club. DB here, Tour Junkies. Thanks for watching. Let's get into this. I got 2 names, one in the 7K range, one in the 6K range. The sleepers crushed at the Travelers Championship. Shez Reavie, Aaron Rye did quite nicely. I can't remember who the third SOB was, but he missed the cut. But Reavie and Rye, pretty good sleepers for you last week. So pay attention. All right, here we go. First sleeper, $7,600. And this guy, listen, I don't think either one of these 2 names are necessarily going to go completely under the radar. But there is like very, very little parity between a guy at 7,500 and a guy at 6,800. Like there's a lot of the same dudes in there. It's a lot of the same mules, if you will. And so these are names I think people are going to know, but I just don't know that the ownership's going to land there. The first one is Joseph Bramlett at 7,600. That's right, Bramwagon. He's having a good year, dude. He's having a good year. He is currently 78th in the FedEx Cup standings. He's eyeballing. He can see the top 70. He can see it. He's got a chance to finish in the top 70, which would be huge for his season. It'd be one of the best seasons he's ever had. It probably is the best season he's ever had. Now, you're going to say, DB, Joseph never played well here, and you would be right. In fact, he's never made a cut here, and that's a little weird. Now, the 2020 year, I kind of throw out. There was a start and stop with COVID. His first year playing the course, I toss it out. 2021 wasn't playing very well coming in. Wasn't playing as good. Now, he was playing pretty good coming into last year, I believe, but still missed the cut. I just think Bramlett is playing a slightly better version of golf for himself, and he's an absolute bomber of the ball. He's one of the longest hitters in this field. But also, over the last 24 rounds, let me just tell you a few of the stats. In this field, over the last 24 rounds, he's 9th in strokes gained total, 12th in strokes gained tee to green, 23rd in ball striking, 32nd off the tee, 30th in approach, 17th around the green. Now, David, where are the warts on Mr. Bramlett? Well, it's obviously his putter, because I mentioned literally everything except his putter. First off, you're going to see the proximity numbers here, really good from this range. Whatever the 2, maybe 3 clubs are that he hits right here, over his career, he's been good. And you're going to get a lot of those shots this week. But I mean, look at kind of this. You're going to get a lot of this 125 to 175 shots here. And obviously long-term, not great, but short-term, last 5 tournaments, he's popping. I mean, look at this. So, since Valspar, this kind of mid-range right here has really been solid in terms of proximity feet gained for Mr. Bramwagon. That's good to see. But let's look at the strokes gained data on him as well. Obviously, you can see here, absolutely nukes it off the tee. Just absolutely nukes it. Hits almost 70% of his greens too, which is going to be huge here. Greens in regulation higher than average at this golf tournament. They average around 72%, which is way up there from tour average. But I mean, look at what's happening here. Ball striking, extremely consistent. But the putter, see what I like here is the putter is kind of trending. Now, you could say that some of that might have been the Byron Nelson 5.2, and I get that. But at least over the last few rounds, it's not been awful. Like, it's not been terrible. Gained in 2 rounds at the Travelers with a miscut. Dead even at Memorial, which I'm fine with in an elevated event. I like that he played well here at the Byron Nelson. It's a birdie fest. 20-something under, 26, 25 under. That's what we're going to have here. I like that he played well in Mexico. That's a Bombers Paradise birdie fest, 10th there. 40th at Quail Hollow, another Bombers Paradise. Tough course, but you hit it far and it's an elevated event. So, I mean, I think Bramlett has some real promise. He's 80 to 1 to win on FanDuel, and I did bet him. And that may be crazy, but it's an ugly field. We could have triple-digit long shot winners, and all it takes with a guy like Bramlett, with his ball striking and his distance, all it takes is, a slightly positive strokes gained putting week, and he could be in the conversation. Now, the smartest play, highest upside play for him might be the plus 280 you can get on DraftKings for a top 20. But I do like Joseph Bramlett. I think he's a nice pivot at $7,600. All right, let's get into the second pick. Before I do, I want to remind everybody of our friends at Front Nine Coffee. In fact, I saw we got a listener tweet this week. He tagged us, Tour Junkies. Just had my first order delivered from Front Nine Coffee, and I got to say it's the best coffee I've ever had. And we appreciate him saying that. Thank you, Dylan Gerasi, for tweeting that. Listen, Front Nine folks are good folks. They love us. They love the Tour Junkies and the followers and the fans. They love golf and they love good coffee. So support a great local business started here in Augusta, Georgia, trying to make good coffee for golfers, get their day started. Good jitters. You know, you want good jitters on the first tee. Me and Pat have our own flavors profiled there on front9coffee.com. You can go check that out. And promo code TJ10 gets you 10% off any order. They'll ship it to you anywhere in the U.S. Gets there in a couple days, and it's fresh. You know it's good. All right, the next guy, another guy who most people are going to know the name, Vincent Norman, 2R Norman. You know, young guy, like Bramlett, hits it really, really far. 6,900 on DraftKings. I see him being around like that 3%, 4%, maybe. He's 150 to 1 on PointsBet, and I bet him. Same kind of reasons I bet Joseph Bramlett. Plus 450, top 20 on DK might be the prudent play. But I did notice too, Data Golf gives him minus 123 to make the cut. So, and Data Golf really gives true odds. I mean, they're not taking bets. So they're giving you, based on their projections, what the true number would be. No VIG. He's minus 123 to make the cut according to Data Golf, which at 6,900, you get a guy who bombs it. That's going to play well here. Favored to make the cut. Obviously, that's what you need. You need 6 of 6s. You need your low end guy to make the cut. Obviously, you want upside too. But let me tell you what Vincent Norman does for you. In the last 24 rounds, Vincent Norman is third in this field in DraftKings points scored. 14th in strokes gained total, 20th tee to green, 28th ball striking, 26th off the tee, 45th on approach, good around the greens. He, like Bramlett, you know, can't putt. But let's open him up, look at him real quick here on Fantasy National, and we will button this bad bitch up. You can see here, definitely hits it far. Hits his green and regs. That's what we like to see, similar to Bramlett. Not terrible on bent grass, which is fine. We like to see that. It's not his worst surface. It's not Bermuda. And yeah, I mean, look at kind of what Norman's been in a very short PGA Tour career. Now, here at the Travelers US Open and Canadian Open, I went back and looked. One of these, he missed the cut by one shot. I can't remember which one. I think it might have been the Travelers this past week. He missed the cut by one shot. The other two, he missed it by 2 shots. Fine lines, right? I mean, there were some guys that missed the cut or made the cut on the number at the US Open to finish in the top 10. I think Tommy Fleetwood did that. So, you know, I don't like seeing these 3 missed cuts, obviously, but you know, the driver couldn't quite be the weapon that it normally is at TPC River Highlands for the Travelers. Same kind of thing for RBC Canadian and Charles Schwab. But look at what he can do when the driver can get opened up. And we know that Detroit Golf Club can open up driver. Guys are going to hit driver on most of these holes, par 4s and par 5s, even the longest hitters. You do that also at TPC Craig Ranch for the Byron Nelson, where he finished 8 and he gained 4.8 strokes off the tee, which then – you know, when you gain that many strokes off the tee, obviously it sets you up to gain more strokes on approach. Therefore, around, you know, you're having a chip less, so you don't even have to worry about that. Hopefully, you're hitting it closer than everybody else, so your putting is better. And that's what happened at the Byron Nelson and Mexico, which I think are 2 in different ways comparable events. Both birdie fest, both events where you hit a ton of drivers. 8th and 18th. Corrales, weak field driver birdie fest. Puerto Rico, weak field driver birdie fest. 21st and 16th. He needs a good finish. He's 118th in the FedEx Cup standings. We got to see a good finish out of Vincent. He needs to pick it up. He's got 6 weeks to make it happen. Listen, 6 weeks. These guys probably want a week off or 2 if they can afford it. But they're looking at the FedEx Cup standings. They're looking at a PGA Live merger and going, now all these names are going to get thrown back into the pot. I got to do my thing. I got to lock this bad boy up. So there you go. 2 sleepers. Check out Front Nine Coffee. Promo code TJ10 gets you 10% off any order. That's 2 sleepers in under 10 minutes. Let's have a great week. Make your screens be green. See ya.